week. He made finals here last year.
Carlos Moya held #1 2 weeks after his performance at the Newsweek out in Indian Wells. Lost in the finals there to Philippoussis, but then lost the #1 spot.
And you have to give Moya credit that at least he can play some decent tennis when he has the opportunity to be #1. He felt when he played his quarterfinal match that he could be #1 this week, and he played the best match of the year, I'd say, against Gustavo Kuerten, destroying him.
And last year it was Marcelo Rios who got to #1 in the world for a little bit longer, for 6 weeks, after Super 9 wins in Indian Wells and Key Biscayne, and then going on to win at Rome. Rios having lots of injury problems this year, but seems to be very healthy now, moving exceptionally well. Got back into the top 10 a couple weeks ago by getting to the finals in Monte Carlo. Pulled out in that final against Kuerten, Jimmy, but we've seen him move very well this week around the court.
Well, he still seems to me to be the most talented player, clay court player in the game right now. He can win any event, especially on the red clay. He's a threat at Roland Garros, and this is really a preview match of probably the 2 favorite guys at Roland Garros.
I'd have to agree, Jimmy. These 2 guys, 2 of the most talented players in the world, particularly on the clay. It's going to be a good one. Rios and Moya, semifinals coming up next. Well, I'm looking forward to this matchup today. Marcelo Rios, Carlos Moya, both playing exceptional clay court tennis all week here in Hamburg. Both really seem to be at the top of their games coming into this semifinal.
Well, Carlos Moya played the match of the year yesterday because he destroyed Gustavo Kuerten, who had been the hottest player on clay coming in. And Kuerten didn't play badly at all. As you see, Carlos Moya, 22 years old, from Spain, highest ranking of #1 in the world. He's all the way down to 6 right now. But as you saw, he's going to be at least 3 in the world. His record 20-10 on the year. And was runner-up at Indian Wells at a Super 9 earlier.
Yet to win a tournament, though, this year has Moya. He's beat Menescincieri, first round from Italy, 3-5. Boinea, third round, excuse me, had a bye in the first round, did Moya. And then that tremendous win yesterday over the Brazilian Kuerten, 6-love, 6-2. Kuerten only holding serve once throughout the match, and Moya just unleashing a barrage yesterday, Jimmy, of big forehands.
Marcelo Rios has left the court right now, so he's just running back. But yesterday's match, Carlos Moya, what was the most impressive thing to me was in the first set where he bageled Kuerten. Kuerten only made 4 unforced errors and hit 8 winners. Usually you at least win a game when you've doubled up your winners to unforced errors. So you see Marcelo Rios, 23 years old. He's getting up there nowadays. 16-6 record this year from Chile. And he's played some tremendous tennis just as of late. Again, he's coming on strong. Beat Oliver Gross first round, Wayne Ferreira. And yesterday's match with the German #1, Tommy Haas.
Came back from 4-1 down in that second set did Rios. First point. Yeah, Rios better watch out, Jimmy. He's getting to middle age for a tennis player now at 23.
23, and he's going to be 24 this year in December, so for him that's old.
They've played twice before, both on clay. French Open last year. This was a big one. Moya winning that in 4 sets. And the semis in Monte Carlo a couple years back. But we've talked about it this week, Jimmy. Rios really was the clear favorite going into the French Open last year. Moya used that to his advantage, really. No one had been talking about him. Beat Rios, went on to win it.
Certainly did use it to his advantage. Rios was a little bit tight. He had just gone through winning 2 events in a row leading up to the French Open, starting with the Super 9 in Rome.
Quickly to 40-love, first game. And Rios with a forehand win of his own, so a clean opening game for the Chilean. We talked about the Spanish Armada. How about the South Americans? There's 3 of them in the semifinals here. We're coming back to Hamburg. Welcome back, everyone. Carlos Moya set to serve his opening service game. Talked about the South Americans here. Of course, Rios from Chile in the other semifinal. Nicolas Lepenti from Ecuador taking on Zabaleta, who we saw beating Tim Henman. So young South Americans coming up quickly.
Well, the Spanish Armada seems to have a bit of a leak in it because last year on the clay there was virtually a Spaniard in every clay court final. Monte Carlo, the first Super 9 on red clay, 2 South Americans in the final.
Huerten and Rios.
And the second one here, 3 of 4 in the semifinals are South Americans, only 1 Spaniard.
15 love.
Yesterday, Carlos Moya was absolutely ripping his forehand. Clean winners, a lot of pace on it. Let's see if he can continue hitting at that pace today.
Well, Moya, Jimmy, at 6'3", and Rios at 5'9", 5'10". Obviously, Moya a little more firepower.
Having said that, Rios plays what I would say bigger than his height. He has a big game, even though he's only 5'9". Because he's able to take the ball so early, he can rush you. He can control some of the baseline rallies.
Well, I'm real interested, Jimmy, to see how this match plays out. Because obviously, if one of these guys has a bad day, it's going to be a blowout. It could be a blowout either way. I'd like to see if both players are playing well. I'm sort of curious as to how the match will play out.
I'd love to see that as well. I think you're right. If they both play well, maybe Moya has a little more firepower.
30 all.
Rios barely missing that opportunity and would have given him a break point. Just caught the top of the tape.
We've seen a few Chilean fans here. There's another one.
They seem to be following him around because they were in Monte Carlo actually stamping their feet in one of his matches against Mark Philippoussis.
Scattered about this Rottenbaum Stadium here in Hamburg. But Moya holds on, 1 game all. First set in the quarterfinals on here. There's Lapenti and Zavaleta, 2 unseeded young South Americans. And then Rios and Moya. One of the few times, Jimmy, all year we've seen the seeds get through to the semifinals, the ones that were supposed to.
Well, at least 2 of them on the bottom there, but the top half was somewhat decimated with Richard Krajicek going out in his first match.
Oh, yes.
Great disguise from Carlos Moya on that drop shot. That point was set up by a ball that Rios hit a let court that got Moya to the net. And right here, it looks like a regular forehand, and at the last minute, he pulls the racket down. It's a beautiful little drop shot.
Love 15. That's big hitting from both players.
Well, these guys seem to be feeling each other out right now in this match. They're not really going for the corners or the lines. A lot of balls hit pretty solidly and hard, but down the center almost. Not wanting to give their opponent much angle.
I mentioned, Jimmy, that the roof is covering the court now because of the rain, but it's actually an open air type roof. It's more just a cover. So the temperature is actually exactly the same. In fact, you can see the player's breath a little bit if you watch closely. It's quite cool, and with the humid conditions. And most of the crowd in heavy jackets. Oh, with a runner there from the Spaniard.
Great forehand on the run, and really a great mover. Both of these guys, but Carlos Moya at 6'3" moves awfully well.
Rios will think again about coming to net on that Moya forehand. 30-all. So where the roof at the Australian Open, say, really changes the conditions because it turns it into an indoor match. This is really still an outdoor match, just a cover on the top. There's still some wind. There's still obviously the cool conditions.
I think is more fair. It should continue to be an outdoor tournament.
Break point, Moya.
Oh, and Rios awfully fortunate at that point. He hit a couple of balls that were nearly out. He took a risk with a big swinging forehand volley. But he saved a break point.
There's that heavy forehand that we talked about, Jimmy. A lot of topspin, a lot of weight on that ball. When it lands deep, it really kicks up high.
Well, and Rios struggles with that shot a little bit. He can't do anything with that ball up high to his backhand.
Break point again. And there it is again. Moya continuing to pester away at that Rios backhand. Earns himself the first break of the match. Carlos Moya is looking to get back to the top. Welcome back to our semifinal coverage. Moya up a break 2-1, and things really heating up in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and ESPN has all the coverage. Tonight it's game 2. St. Louis Blues against the Dallas Stars. Dallas up 1-0, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tonight on ESPN. And on the Deuce, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. West, Pittsburgh and Toronto. Jaromir Jagr leading the Pens to a 1-0 lead in that one as well. ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Service.
There's a Rios backhand off a lower ball. He has less trouble with the low balls on the backhand side. He rips that one cross court.
Love 15. I think if Rios can play the way he played these 2 points, Jimmy, which is get inside the court and get Moya to move a little bit, as Moya doesn't like that call on the sideline, he'll have a better chance, because if Moya's able to push him back behind the baseline, I don't think Rios is nearly as effective there.
Certainly. He needs to control the points from inside the baseline. You're absolutely right, Marcelo Rios does. Oh, and Rios let Moya get away with one that time. Rios, one of the best passing shots in the game. Plenty of time to hit that one cross court, at least make Moya hit a volley.
15-30.
Rios guessed right on that big forehand from Carlos Moya. Almost overran it a little bit, so he couldn't do much with the passing shot. Moya there with the simple volley.
Back to 30 all. Moya has won only, I say, because this guy's got so much talent and has already been #1. 5 titles in his career. Where's the big one at the French last year. And a very consistent year in the big tournaments, though, last year did Moya. One time missing on the drop volley, reaching the semifinals at the U.S. Open. Finalist at the ATP Tour World Championships, where his countryman Alex Corretja beat him in 5 sets.
Well, he's proven to be a big match player. When he's had opportunities to be #1, he's come through so far. Rios moves a little too well to get away with many drop shots. He also has such good feel, Marcelo Rios, when he does get up there. Get a look at it here. Last minute flick of the wrist, cross court. Moya could only send it back weakly.
Another break point for the Chilean. Oh, right in the corner.
There's the forehand that we saw yesterday. Carlos Moya, just once he got a little bit of a lead, got some confidence in yesterday's quarterfinal, he starts just absolutely unleashing forehands.
Moya looking to attack. But as you said, Jimmy, Rios covering the court so well, you better hit a darn good drop shot.
Or a darn good approach shot as well, because that was a nice passing shot off the backhand that Rios hit cross court to sort of set himself up for the winner forehand pass. Another break point.
There's the break back for Marcelo Rios.
But I'll tell you what, it's really a bad sign, in my opinion, for Marcelo Rios that a lot of these rallies, he's forced 5 and 6 feet behind the baseline. He wants to play on the baseline. He's accustomed to being there, taking control of the rallies. And I don't think he's going to be able to win the match from that far behind the baseline.
He's using his string saver there, Rios, to keep the strings lasting for a bit longer. Little plastic nubs that the players put in between the strings. 2-all. Think about Moya having just 5 career titles. Well, Rios has 12. Most of them coming last year when he won 8 tournaments. But hasn't won a big one yet, a Grand Slam.
Well, he has been the favorite to win the French Open 2 years now in a row.
Here are Rios's tournament titles. 95, he won 4 events. Bologna, Amsterdam on clay. 1 in 96. Monte Carlo, the Super 9 in 97. And then 3 Super 9s last year. 2 on hard court. Indian Wells, Key Biscayne. Rome on clay. And the big money Grand Slam Cup. Beat Agassi in 5 sets in that final.
Beat Agassi in 5 sets and was a bit injured in that final as well. Just showing you how well Rios can play. Even injured, he's still dangerous.
Well, he had a lot of tournaments at the end of the year that he pulled out because of injury, Rios. People questioning his resolve. And the beginning of this year, really having some injury problems with his lower back. But now he looks 100% fit, and he's had the match play in the last couple of weeks. Obviously moving well.
He really needed to get back in shape mentally because he was playing so streaky in the last few weeks. I think he seems to be concentrating a little bit better now. It takes a while for you to get it together mentally as well when you've been off. Having said that, he just missed 2 relatively easy forehands in a row, and he's down a couple of break points again.
He goes wide, so 3 straight breaks of serve. Carlos Moya now puts his nose out front in this semifinal at the German Open. 3-2 Moya. Welcome back to the German Open. Carlos Moya had a break. 2 of the bigger names in men's tennis right now, and coming to up-and-coming names here. Leighton Hewitt and Xavier Malisse will play the finals tonight at the Citrix Championships. That's in Delray Beach, Florida. 2 teenagers, Jimmy.
Incredible. A shot at the future, maybe, of tennis, these 2 youngsters. Leighton Hewitt especially, getting off to a pretty quick start this year.
Leighton Hewitt from Australia. Xavier Malisse from Belgium. The first time, Jimmy, at least the first time I can remember in a long time, where there's 2 teenagers in a final.
Could be the first time ever.
We'll check on it. 15 love. Oh, Rios was there.
Well, I was about to say, bad idea. Trying another drop shot on Rios. He moves too well. Boy, he got away with that one. Rios usually has such great touch.
The serve, a bigger weapon, isn't it, for Moya?
Certainly is, although last year Marcelo Rios went through a stage where he was nearly impossible to break. He's getting a lot of first serves in out wide and then dominating the point the rest of the way. He hasn't been able to do that at all today against Moya. And even while stumbling, running wide to the forehand side, Carlos Moya comes up with a tremendous angle to hold serve.
Easy hold for Moya at love. He's out to a 4-2 lead, first set. Good viewing position there. There's that great touch, Jimmy.
That was beautifully disguised as well. And Moya, as well as he moves, just didn't get a quick enough jump on that drop shot. Couldn't track it down. Suddenly, Rios opening up with a big serve.
First ace of the match.
Great touch again, and Rios, I think, is realizing he can't win this match from 5 or 6 feet behind the baseline. So in this particular game, he's moved up, played a little more aggressively. Nice little disguise and touch on that drop shot.
40 love. Oh, clean winner off the return.
So Moya says, okay, if you're going to pick up the pace, take a look at this. Rips a cross-court return. A lot easier to do when you're down 40 love.
Oh, just goes over the baseline.
Clay court tennis at its finest. These guys showing you some big shots. They're mixing in some beautiful little touch.
14.
A lot of times, Jimmy, people ask me, why is it so different playing on clay? And one of the things I say that maybe isn't so obvious all the time is you watch how the players move the real clay courts. And I saw at that point, Moya, how he slides into the ball just perfectly. Right there. Every time he misses it, but they slide into it. They hit their shot in perfect positions, and they can then move back with the next shot. Hardcore players slide after they hit their shot, then they're out of position. Moya up a break. Welcome back to the red clay of the German Open. Carlos Moya up a break, 4-3. ESPN's coverage of NASCAR trucks continues at the Memphis 200 today at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon West Coast. Truck Series returns to the 3/4 mile Memphis, Tennessee Oval. Today at 3 p.m. ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Rios acknowledging the new balls. Moya serving here.
Number 15.
And you're right, the big first serve is helping Carlos Moya in this match so far. He's setting himself up to take control with big forehands that he can hit either way, inside out or whip it back, topspin the other side.
The fact that it's so cool, Jimmy, I always didn't like playing in cool conditions. I felt it was hard to get warmed up. Did it affect the play a lot on this surface?
Well, I think actually the conditions here where it's a little bit damp as well and cold, it's going to make things a little slower than they may normally be.
And who will that favor?
Probably Rios.
See, I think it favors Moya because I think he's got a little more firepower, hits the ball a little more topspin.
Well, and so far you're proven to be true as Moya is the one that's controlling these rallies.
30 love. And that's where Moya has some problems at net. If he has to really hit a firm volley back deep, he loves to hit those touch volleys around the net.
He's accustomed to when he hits an approach shot, his opponent is so far out of position that he's able to just drop the ball over the net to win the point. Well, Rios is forcing Moya to hit conventional volleys.
Oh, yes.
16.
But using the pace of your opponent there is Rios. Back to 30 all.
She's a couple of footfall calls now in Carlos Moya. It's not as if he's trying to serve and volley. There's no real advantage to footfalling if you're staying back. Moya getting away a little bit from what was winning him this first set, and that's high, heavy balls to the backhand side of Marcelo Rios. That sets up normally a short ball for him. This game he's tried to blast a little bit harder, and Rios is able to handle the pace.
Break point for Rios to get back on serve. Oh, beautiful stuff from Rios.
And Rios is into this match. He's there mentally, which is what he needs to be, but that was very well done the way he got back into the net quickly after this overhead. Take another look at it. He hits the overhead. He knows it's not good enough, so he gets back in quickly and then waits for that drop volley.
That's such a great point, Jimmy, because most clay court players would hit that overhead and retreat and go back. Rios showing some exquisite touch up there. 4 all. 2 break serve each way. Oh, again, half volleying that forehand.
Well, that's what Marcelo Rios can do so well. He's got such unbelievable hands. I mean, that is a difficult shot. Half volleying from the baseline. Does it perfectly. Gives Carlos Moya no time to get back in position, which is why he had that easy volley.
15 love. Well, Rios thought he had the ace.
Yeah, I think he ought to go have the mark checked. That ball just looked to have curved in. But I'm wrong, at least according to the umpire.
Very, very close. You know, when the umpire starts to get down and really examine that mark, that it's very close.
Well, you also know that Carlos Moya, when he went over to look at the mark, he didn't actually circle one. He just pointed vaguely.
Right.
Usually that means the ball's in. Normally, if the ball mark is out, you go over there and you circle it with your racket.
Make it very obvious. So Rios on a run here. There's that serve. He hits so effectively, Jimmy. That's so difficult. That lefty swinger wide in the deuce court.
Well, that's what he did so well last year on both sides. He'd serve out wide and then start controlling the rally right away. Kind of like he tried to do that point. Get you out of the court and then just starts moving you and taking the ball early.
Still game points for Rios. Looked like Moya had control of this first set at 4-3, but Rios showing a little bit of substance here at the end of this first set. He's up 5-4. Welcome back to Hamburg, everyone. Rios ahead 5-4 on serve. First set.
Rios recognized when he was down 4-2 that he was being overpowered a little bit in this match. He started taking the ball earlier.
Easy forehand from Moya there.
Well, Moya, I think, now realized what got him to the lead was heavy forehands, not necessarily going for it. He went back to that point and set up the ball he wanted. He just happened to miss the forehand when he had the sitter.
Love 15. Oh, and a double fault from Moya.
Moya suddenly falling apart here, mentally.
Here's the points won by Rios, our friends from Lucent Technologies. See Rios points he's winning. He's got some red area.
The only red area is inside the baseline, exactly.
And when the points won by Moya, look where Rios is. Wow, what a difference. Way behind the baseline.
Well, and what's funny is Moya stayed in the same exact position whether he won or lost the points. The difference really has been Rios and where he's gotten in control of the points here at the end of this set, opposed to the early going when he was pushed back.
Of course, it's not quite as simple as just being in a different part of the court, Jimmy. As you and I know, it's
getting to the position to be inside the baseline.
But Moya obviously feeling the pressure that he's got to do more off the ground, as his first serve percentage is mediocre. He's not winning that many points on the first serve.
That's a surprising stat there, is that he's only winning 53% of the times when he gets his first serve in.
Set points, Rios. And there's the first set to the Chilean.
Carlos Moya self-destructs that last game. He missed a host of simple shots. An easy forehand the first point. He double faulted the second point, and then that last volley, he really handed that game and that set to Marcelo Rios.
It was a good move by Rios, too, because as soon as he hit that pass, Jimmy, he started sprinting towards the net, knowing that Moya loves those drop volleys.
Absolutely. Great play when you're playing a clay court. You know the drop volley is probably the volley of choice.
So second set, Rios to serve.
Love 15.
Now here's the point in the match where Rios has struggled recently mentally. He's just come through winning a tough first set. Obviously, he doesn't want to get behind quickly, but he's had some lapses in concentration so far this year.
He was down a break twice here in the first set against Moya. Got it. Oh, just pushes it wide. Great coverage from both players.
Marcelo Rios is not going to be very easy to drop shot now because he's not so far behind the baseline, although he didn't do quite enough with that shot, but showed some good reflexes. And then Moya showed good speed, just barely wide.
15-all.
Looking a little dejected at the moment. He's going to have to find a way to get back in control of the points. Rios has suddenly imposed his will, standing inside the baseline, going for his shots and controlling the points.
And serving well, Jimmy. He's at 68% for the match, first serves. It's enabling him to get on top of Moya early in the point. The winners, one more for Rios, actually a few more errors. Stats favoring Moya really slightly. Oh, beautiful.
Wow. That was some tremendous touch, a very difficult shot. Carlos Moya to come up with. You get another look at it here. This passing shot, Rios so good at getting the ball down low. Really, that ball just hitting Moya's racket. Didn't do anything else but let it hit his racket. Used the pace of Rios' shot. Perfect touch.
There you go. Again, rushing Moya a little bit is Rios. That can cause the Spaniard to make a few errors. Game point. Rios handling the pace of Moya, and Moya frustrated now as everything he hits, the harder he hits it, comes back with more conviction from the Chilean. First set to Rios, 1-love, second set. Semifinals from Hamburg. Welcome back to this semifinal. Rios and Moya, 6-4, 1-love for Rios. Hoping to gain a place in the final here at this Mercedes Super 9. We'll have, of course, the final for you tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 on the West Coast. ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Go.com. The winner of this will take on an unseeded finalist. We know that for sure. Mariana Zabaleta, Argentina, and Nicholas Lepenti in the other semifinals here.
Moya hasn't realized that part of the reason why he started losing there at the end of the first set here early in the second set is he's gone away from the heavy forehand. A lot of high topspin to the backhand side of Rios. That's where he gets short balls. Not hitting with pace. Rios can handle any pace. That's the ball right there that Rios has a little bit of trouble with. High, a lot of spin to the backhand. Moya was doing that early on, and all of a sudden he went away from it, tried to overpower Rios with pace. And Rios just has too much control.
Maybe because, Jimmy, he got slightly overconfident, Moya. He got up a break.
But you can see what happens when you keep the ball a little lower. Marcelo Rios just too good.
A lot of times your instinct as a player, Jimmy, is to start going for more when you are ahead, when you feel you're playing well. And maybe in this case, that wasn't the right move for Moya.
Certainly wasn't. It caused him to lose that first set, but he has to realize what was winning in the set. It wasn't when he was going for shots like that. It was when he set it up first with the heavy ball.
So another error off the Moya forehand. 30 all.
Oh boy, and Rios is going to make that passing shot 9 out of 10 times. Carlos Moya running around his backhand, leaving the court open. Got away with it.
And Moya fights off Rios in this second game to hold serve. Keep himself in this second set, 1 game all. Not want to let Rios continue that run from 4-2 down in the first set.
5 games in a row Rios had won.
Let's see if Moya can employ that tactical change that you've been talking about, Jimmy.
A lot of times when you're the player on the court, you can't really see what's happening. Can't feel it as well. This is where coaching would make a big difference. He did try to employ my tactic of heavy high balls to the backhand. He just missed it. It's not a real difficult shot to put in play.
So you like the idea of on-court coaching on the tour?
I didn't necessarily endorse it. I just said it would make a difference.
Okay, I was just asking. A good swinging wide serve. You're welcome to give your opinion on that.
I think I'd rather have no coaching, although it's a tight call for me, just because I think it's the players are going to, whoever is able to figure it out, it's the man who deserves to win without any help from his coach.
That's part of the challenge, right?
Exactly.
Only sport where there is no on-court coaching.
I said that it may add a little color to have like Nick Bollettieri on the sideline yelling and screaming at his opponent and his partner.
Again, Moya trying to hit the big forehand, overhits again.
Well, he's getting himself in some good positions, but just not making that forehand that he made all day yesterday.
And Rios stepping up his service game. It's his second ace of the match. Comfortably holds on. Won the first set, on serve in the second. That's a nice sight, that red clay. Marcelo Rios and Carlos Moya certainly like the looks of it. 2-1 second set. Rios ahead. 2 of the clear favorites, I think, Jimmy. I think we both agree going into the French Open in a couple of weeks. Probably have to put Gustavo Kuerten amongst the favorites the way he's been playing. Those would probably be my 3 favorites going in, at least at this stage. Of course, we have this tournament to finish and Rome next week.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The clear favorites, really, in my opinion. Kuerten, very difficult to beat on the red clay. He's already won a French Open. Really, Rios is the only one who hasn't gotten the job done yet. I think it's easier to probably win the second time. The first time will be the toughest.
Oh, yes. Moya quickly moving in to take that ball out of the air.
That's what I like about both these players, is they're not afraid to get to the net. Moya sees his opponent in trouble, doesn't wait for it to give him any time to get back in the court. He takes it out of the air with the swinging topspin forehand volley.
30 love.
Boy, a football on a second serve now.
Must be that back foot that he slides forward, Jimmy. Sometimes catches the line.
And as I said, it's not like he's using it as an advantage football thing. He's trying to, as quickly as he can after he serves, get back behind the baseline. Moya complaining, but there's nothing that can be done by the umpire.
Nice hit by the 30.
And Moya already a little bit fragile mentally in this match right now. We'll see if that football call is going to let that bother him. See an unbelievable first serve percentage from Marcelo Rios at 73%.
Another error on the forehand side. And now Moya needing to regroup as Rios has a break point.
A lot of times when you're feeling the pressure, when you're struggling a bit in a match and you get a call that you don't like, you can almost use it as an excuse, getting dejected, and that's what Moya looked like, although he played a good break point down there to save the break point.
Wait, yes.
Excellent return. Rios just attacking that kick serve. Moya tried to change up the pace there with the first serve.
Normally I like that play, and it was out wide. It was a good serve, but Rios really took that first serve early. He was able to cut off the angle. Both players doing a good job when they get up break point. Here's one with a second serve.
That time Moya, the aggressor.
He finally hit a nice forehand from inside the baseline. He's been making errors when he set up the point. That time he was a little more careful. It's with the direction, keeping it 3 or 4 feet inside the sidelines.
Back to deuce.
Full play.
The depth on that first serve.
We're still at only 50% for the match when he gets his first serve in, winning the point. That's a tough stat.
He's winning more points, Jimmy, on his second serve. 55%. Not that time.
Well, which tells you that when the ball's up high, and not necessarily high because the second serve is going to bounce higher with the kick, Rios doesn't like it as much. The pace doesn't bother him.
Third double fault for Moya. Second in this game. The first one coming on the football call. Deuce again. There it is again, Jimmy. That kick, Rios wasn't able to get on top of it and move in.
Exactly, but when the ball is low, Rios handles it beautifully.
The Moya fights off 2 break points. keeps himself even in the second set, 2 games all.
2 games all.
Well, a good comeback for Moya mentally that game. He let himself become upset for a couple of points when they called that football in the second serve. He had been up 30 love at that point.
Concern 15 left.
One of the things I loved about Moya's game is he's always so balanced. Well, now a couple of backhands, you see him pulling off the ball, leaning backwards. He's feeling the pressure of Rios' shots.
Again, Rios opening up the court with that cross-court backhand.
But again, it was off a short ball, not with a lot of topspin from Moya that started off Rios with the angle quickly to 30 love. Rios is camped on the baseline now. He is no longer being backed up as he was in the early going.
And holding serve throughout this second set very easily so far for Rios. Moya the one struggling to hold on, and he'll have to do it again. Rios has had break points early in this second set. Moya still hanging on. It's set to 3-2 to Rios. Welcome back to the German Open. There's the cover, covering this center court at Rottenbaum Stadium. 3-2 Rios. First set, 6-4 for the Chilean. Carlos Moya barely hanging on in this second set.
Got to hand it to Rios. He was able to adjust. He realized what was happening in the first set when he was down 4-2. He said, I've got to take control of some of these points, move in. He was able to do it. Moya really hasn't been able to adjust since.
And Rios picking apart now Moya. That backhand off of Moya is starting to land pretty short.
It is. He's being backed up as he hits it. His body, as I said, normally keeps it so straight. And once in a while, he's flinching backwards as he hits it. Quickly to love 30. Moya's going to have to find some answers quickly.
Concern 15 seconds. Left. First service.
Rios well behind the baseline. Tremendous angle.
The best control in the game, in my opinion, on these type of passing shots. Moya thought, I'm in perfect position here. The man's 10 feet behind the baseline. I got plenty of time to get close to the net. Rios still found the spot.
Yet to break in this second set. 2 more break points. I think that ball took the line. The one that Rios hit, and he's still able to adjust and rack that forehand.
It shows you what talent this man has, because that ball, you're absolutely right, Patrick, skidded off the line, and Marcelo Rios was inside the baseline as he hit it. He had no time to adjust. Hit the ball cleanly anyway.
Amazing racket control. 4-2 now, Rios. It's just a matter of time, the way he was pressuring the Moya serve throughout this second set. What can Moya do, if anything? Try to get back in this match.
Moya is in real trouble because he just played that point exactly the way I feel he should play. I mean, he hit some heavy balls to the back end. He got the short ball, didn't get close enough to the net on it, though, which caused him to hit that half volley, and then Rios, with the great speed, ran down the drop volley.
15-love.
15.
Well, even Rios can miss one of his patented half volleys from the baseline, just overhitting there, but I have not seen Rios look this confident, Jimmy, in a long time.
No, this is the best he's played in
probably about a year. Yeah.
There's
his fourth ace. Excuse me, his third ace for the match.
30-15.
Just 1 hour of play so far. But it has been of the highest quality from Marcelo Rios. Now picking it up here, trying to race out to a 5-2 lead. He's only lost 4 points on serve in this set, has Rios. Another error from Moya, and Rios will casually stroll to the sideline. And when we come back, he will try to close out Carlos Moya. Marcelo Rios already out, ready to receive serve and try to finish off Carlos Moya. 5-2, Rios in the second set. It was Moya who led in that first set, 4-2. Since then, it has been all Marcelo Rios.
9 of 11 games Rios has won, and it is when he changed strategies. And Moya again used the strategy I like to start off that point and backed up Rios. That's the one ball that Rios backs up on, is the high heavy one. But then Moya's going to have to make that short approach shot when he sets up the point. But at least it gets Moya in the position he wants to be in. Maybe a little late now.
But the problem, I think, that Moya is facing is that even when he does set it up, as we see Rios' results in 99, again, the injury is keeping him out, but he's been making progress. Finalist in Monte Carlo a couple weeks ago. What I'm going to say is that even when Moya does get that approach shot, Jimmy, he knows that if he doesn't hit a great one, Rios is going to hit an amazing passing shot, dip it in his feet. We've seen Rios do that all day.
Exactly right. Exactly right. It's tough. It's tough in the approach shot, but maybe he can at least get control of the court with that high, heavy ball and get inside the baseline a little more from the rallies.
Good first serve from Moya. 30 all.
Nice take by the 30.
Nice little change up.
A beautiful little angle, although I think he was helped with a little bit of a miss. It made that angle go even shorter. Marcelo Rios wasn't able to run it down.
Game point for Moya. So Moya holds on. 5-3 now. Marcelo Rios serving for the match.
Moya hasn't been able to put a dent in the Marcelo Rios serve in this set. But now Rios perhaps will feel a little pressure. We'll see. Serving for the match. Generally, when you get the most tight.
We know about that, Jimmy. Well, Moya trying to take charge. But overhitting, and Rios' first serve percentage has been over 80% for the set, Jimmy.
But he missed the first serve on this game. As I said, a lot of times this is when you're the most nervous. Moya didn't take advantage of that second serve, although he did go for it.
So
Both players trying to take control. Two big shots. They both just miss.
$15-all.
Ooh, that ball could have gotten nasty if it hit the top of the net and dropped over. Marcelo Rios showing you a little leaping ability. It's a good snap on the overhead as well.
30-15. Tremendous stab from Rios, and he can taste it.
You can see Rios is into this match now, and it's good to see him back mentally. Beautiful stab on that first volley. Well, he didn't get a very good jump on it. Caused him to just be able to push it back up high to Rios.
Double match point. Moya saved one.
Great stuff from Carlos Moya, finally getting control of an approach shot. With Rios moving backwards, he wasn't able to get that ball down low like he has the rest of this match. Still has a match point.
Match point again. And Moya saves another with a huge forehand up the line.
Well, a big forehand that dropped incredibly at the end. It looked as though it was going long, and at the last second, that topspin just brought the ball down. Back to deuce. Moya suddenly hitting the lines right when he needs it. Facing a couple of match points, he saved those, and now all of a sudden, break point. Could be back in it.
And Rios tightened up a little bit on that backhand, and Carlos Moya showing he is not going to go down just yet. He wants to get back to that #1 spot. Winning here would take him a long way. 5-4. Well, Marcelo Rios pondering those 2 match points that he just let slip away. Still up 5 games to 4. Coverage of his senior PGA Tour continues today. The Nationwide Championships from the Golf Club of Georgia. 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 on the West Coast. And there's the leaderboard. George Archer and Graham Marsh hold the lead, tied. Hal Irwin amongst others at 3 under. Our coverage continuing today at 5:30 p.m. Moya serving 4-5.
Well, Moya just saved a couple of match points. Now you'd think the momentum would be all in his favor, but let's remember, he has struggled to hold serve in this set. He's only been broken once, but he's had other chances to be broken, other breakpoint opportunities for Rios.
Solid serve right into the body of Rios. 15-all.
And Rios looking a little tight on the last couple of shots there. That forehand, he did not finish at all. Pulled up short on it. Caused it to hit the tape. I think Moya has a broken string, and he does. Broke it on the serve. Normally you'd see a player rush the net because you can't hit any ground strokes once a string breaks effectively. tension goes down so low, it's hard to control the ball.
And particularly Moya, Jimmy, who strings his rackets pretty loose compared to most players. Has all that racket speed. So with a loose racket, if you break the string, it really takes the tension out of it. So he's going to hit one ball just to sort of get a feel for the tension. Especially when you're serving a set down 4-5, 30 all.
Pretty tough time to break the string for me. It just gotten the momentum. And Rios being a little more careful with his shots all of a sudden. He was careful again with that forehand approach. Could have done a lot more with it. And then he stumbles on this volley. Just doesn't get his body in position at all and is reaching for it.
Didn't get his knees down at all, Jimmy. Game point for Moya.
It's amazing. Moya has to know his opponent's a little bit tight with the shots that Rios has hit the last few points. No reason to make that silly error off a looper.
Maybe all of a sudden Moya getting a little tight, thinking that
he's got a chance now.
Yeah, he's back in the match. Back to deuce. And Moya, I think, Jimmy, just does not want to hit a backhand.
No, he certainly doesn't. He's going to great lengths to hit forehands. But his forehand has not been nearly as effective as it was yesterday, making a lot of unforced errors on that side.
Match point number 3 for Rios. This time on Moya's serve.
Rios not tentative that point at least. Tried to go for it, opened up, but boy, it shows you that he's tight when he had a fairly simple forehand and he hit it well wide.
Well, I think he was tentative, Jimmy, and not going to the net. Because that one forehand, Moya was off to slice. The backhand, Rios could have snuck in. Back to deuce.
Oh boy, great speed from Rios there, and he had that backhand pass, but again he didn't get his body in position. He was forced to reach for it. Moya showing some great speed as well, hitting that forehand on the run. But right here you'll see Rios, he just needed one more step to be in position.
Chilean fans,
well, they know that things are getting awfully tight all of a sudden.
seeing a lot of opportunities slip away, and Rios clearly feeling the pressure now. Game point, Moya. So Moya holds on.
Mentally, each match point that you lose makes the next one that much tougher to get. And start thinking about your opportunities that you've lost already. We'll see if Rios is fragile mentally to begin with.
Certainly Rios thinking about that easy forehand he missed on the last match point. 5 games all now. Second set.
Great stuff. Great speed from Carlos Moya, and Rios is in real trouble, even though he's up a set right now in this match. He hit about as good a drop shot half volley as he could. And then this topspin lob, Moya read it, and it wasn't deep enough anyway.
Love 15.
Moya's starting to play some good solid tennis now, because Rios hit a host of effective ground strokes in that rally, and Moya just running every ball down, and then when he got the opportunity, showed some nice touch. Rios nearly made that shot.
Well, Moya really sensing, Jimmy, that Rios is a bit fragile now. He's doing everything he can to stay in the points. Force Rios to hit one more shot. Love 30. Often your mentality changes when you think that your opponent is starting to crumble.
Moya hitting a lot of short balls and giving Rios opportunities to take control of the points. At least he's forcing him to hit winners now, Moya. He was making too many unforced errors. 25 for the match.
15-30. And there's an unforced error from Rios. And now 2 break points for Moya to go up 6-5.
Well, we're doing a pretty good job on break points. 3 of 4. Make it 3 of 5.
13-14.
Another good first serve by Rios, setting up the backhand, which he punishes.
Big couple of points for Marcelo Rios to save those break points, help him get it back together mentally. This sport changes so quickly, the momentum. Don't forget, if Rios can hold serve, he's had so many opportunities to break. Moya's had trouble holding serve.
This may relieve a little pressure from Rios if he can hold here. Now Rios has fought off a couple break points himself. When we come back, Moya will serve once again to stay in this match. Welcome back, everyone. Semifinals of the German Open. Part of the Mercedes Super 9. Marcelo Rios won the first set 6-4. Now it's 6-5. He had match points, 3 of them so far in the second set. 2 on his own serve.
Big forehand. That's been missing today for Carlos Moya. He's had trouble with the sitters. A lot of unforced errors, but that time, beautiful down the line, tailing away from Rios.
Tricycle 13.
Broken string. Oh!
Unbelievable stuff.
Did he break
Carlos
it?
Moya? No, I think
No,
he
he
just
didn't.
hit so much spin on that drop shot that you could hear the string.
Amazing.
And Rios did all he could to get it back in play, but that's just not enough. And Carlos Moya is there for the easy volley.
Smartly moving forward there, Moya, to cut that off.
Take away the drop shot reply from Rios, which is the easiest shot when you're in that position.
Game points to force the tiebreak.
What a great return from Marcelo Rios. And even though Carlos Moya's made a bit of a comeback here in the second set, he hasn't really been able to back Rios up. Rios has still been in control of the rallies. Moya's just cut down on the errors and let Rios get a little tight when he had his opportunities.
Which he had when he had a couple match points. So Moya really played 2 great points on his own serve. When he was down match point. It was that 1 point that Rios had when he missed that easy forehand. Actually, that was on Moya's serve. The other 2 were on Rios' service game. Rios was up 5-3 and 40-15. So now we go to the tiebreak. Decide this second set.
And you were right, Patrick. The match point where Rios did miss the easy forehand, he should have been at the net. He had Carlos Moya scrambling in the back of the court.
Everyone rushing that forehand a bit as Rios. Moya an early break. They played twice before, both on clay. 1-1. Last year, Moya beating Rios at the quarters of the French. Moya, of course, going on to win the French championships last year.
Rios really starting to take control of the rallies, standing on the baseline, even in the face of those heavy topspin ground strokes. He's just picking him right off the ground, but he's missing the ball. Rios is when he has the short one. 2 times now in this tiebreaker already.
Looks a little impatient to me, Jimmy, in the tiebreak so far, Rios.
Well, certainly he's going for it. If he'd hit 2 winners, we would have said, boy, he's playing
got
very
a lot of
intelligent.
nerve. Well, I don't think he can expect to hit winners off the first, second ball in the rallies, the way Moya is scrambling now in the tiebreak. Wasn't, by the way, how he was winning points by taking the ball early and trying to hit clean winners. I don't think it's going to happen now. 3-love for Moya.
Listen.
Moya has changed his strategy somewhat here towards the end of the set. I think, as I said, because he knew his opponent was getting tight, but it's worked in his favor. He's now just keeping more balls in play, a little higher topspin. Rios doesn't like those shots quite as much.
3-1, Moya. Second serve.
Well, those were 2 must points for Rios. Down 3-love in the tiebreaker. He couldn't afford to lose another point on his serve. Too good. Marcelo Rios just has such great control, and he's moving the ball around beautifully now.
3 straight points for Rios to get him to 3-all. He's forgotten that he has to change sides here. Marcelo Rios after 6 points in the tiebreak. Players will change ends. Rios really snapped that overhead. He's casually hit a few of those throughout this match, Jimmy, where he hasn't really gone for the overhead, but that one he really snapped off.
I think once in a while he doesn't get in position for those overheads like he should, and it forces him sometimes to just spin them in, which you don't normally see.
This an excited fan there.
Well, you know, it is only a tie break at this point.
It's only 3-all. Moya's only been down 3 match points.
Oh boy, Moya guesses right, but he made the mistake on coming in on that approach shot. Can't come in against Marcelo Rios unless you have him out of position.
And again, Rios quickly moving forward, expecting the drop volley from Moya, which wasn't a good one. So Rios, reeling off 4 straight points, now has the lead at 4-3.
As soon as Rios gets the lead, he gets a little tight again. Had an opportunity to get to the net early in that point, and also had opportunities to get back control of the rally, and he's hitting suddenly more down the center. 4-all on the break now.
Left for service.
That time Rios attacks the short ball and moves forward.
5-4.
It's the type of shot where maybe Moya wouldn't have got it back anyway, but the fact that he sees his opponent coming to net makes him try to do even a little bit more. And that'll force a lot more errors over the course of a match.
Which is why whenever you see your opponent force to slice, that's when you run to the net, because he's not going to be able to hit an effective shot most likely.
That goes wide, and excellent defensive work from Rios to stay in that point. Then takes the opportunity, and now he has 2 more match points.
And let's see if he gets tight again or if he can loosen up for one of these. Carlos Moya is going to try everything he can to get the ball back in play no matter what.
Rios had his hand up as Moya was going into his delivery. It'll be a first serve again. Match points, Rios. Rios has got it.
Not a drop shot.
Not the shot to play there. Marcelo Rios finally capitalizes on his 4th match point and defeats Carlos Moya. And Rios moves into his 2nd straight Mercedes Super 9 final. Great comeback by Rios there in the end of that set, Jimmy, after he had obviously gotten tight.
Certainly was. At 5-all, he got down double break point. He was able to save that, and that really loosened him up for the rest of this 2nd set. Great effort from Marcelo Rios, mentally and physically in this match.
And a great effort by Moya. He's back to number 3 in the world.